Are you 25 and feel like everyone else has life figured out? You scroll through Instagram or LinkedIn and it hits you. Your friend just got a job promotion. Someone else is traveling through Europe. Another one is getting engaged. And then there's you, sitting there wondering, what am I doing with my life? You start feeling like you're behind. Like you missed some secret class in your 20s where everyone else learned how to be successful, happy, and on track. I felt that way too. At 25, I didn't have a clear career path. I wasn't where I thought I'd be. I'd look around, compare, and feel like I was falling behind in a race I never signed up for. But then, something shifted. Not overnight. Not with a big life-changing event. But with a small habit I started reading. Not just random books. Books that spoke to exactly how I was feeling. Books that told me, you're not broken. You're just growing. And slowly, things started to change. I stopped seeing 25 as a deadline and started seeing it as a starting line. I stopped thinking I was behind and realized I was just in a different season of life. I stopped comparing my timeline to others and began trusting my own. These 6 books didn't fix everything, but they helped me think clearer, feel more confident, and most importantly, they helped me move forward. Because that's the thing. You don't need to have everything figured out right now, but you do need something to hold on to, some guidance, some support, a little clarity. And that's what these books gave me. So if you're feeling lost, if you've been questioning your path, if your mind has been running in circles while the world moves on without you, take a deep breath. This video is for you. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share 6 books that genuinely helped me feel less lost at 25. They gave me courage when I felt small. They reminded me that I'm allowed to start over. And they showed me that behind isn't a real thing, it's just a story we tell ourselves. So let's rewrite that story together. So now that we're beginning this journey, let's get one thing clear right away. You're not alone. Being 25 and feeling lost isn't strange. It's actually very common. Let's be real, your 20s are messy. You're trying to figure out your job, maybe your partner, where to live, how to save, how to dream, and at the same time, everyone around you seems to be doing it better. But here's the truth. You're not failing. You're just figuring it out. Studies show that nearly 88% of people in their 20s go through what's called a quarter-life crisis. That means feeling confused, unsure, or behind isn't the exception, it's the norm. So let me ask you, what's one part of your life where you feel stuck right now? Career? Relationships? Motivation? Whatever it is, these books might help you move forward one page at a time. And when I felt stuck at 25, unsure where to start, this book was my wake-up call. Book 1. The Defining Decade by Meg Jay. Meg Jay is a clinical psychologist who's worked with hundreds of people in their 20s. And her message is simple, but powerful. Your 20s are not a waiting room. They are your foundation. She explains that while it's easy to think I'll figure it out later, the small decisions we make now about work, love, health, and money actually shape our entire future. One story in the book hit me hard. A 26-year-old who kept bouncing between jobs and casual relationships, thinking none of it really mattered. But slowly, it started to weigh her down until she realized, the more we avoid making choices, the more life starts choosing for us. That line stayed with me. If you don't decide, someone else will decide for you. And that was me. I kept putting off things, fixing my budget, applying for new jobs, ending relationships that didn't feel right. I thought I had time. But this book helped me see that small steps now are investments. They don't have to be perfect, just intentional. For example, instead of saving a lot, I just started saving something. Instead of quitting my job, I updated my resume and talked to one mentor. Instead of trying to find the one, I thought, what does a healthy relationship even look like for me? Meg doesn't say you have to have it all figured out. She says, use this decade wisely. It's not pressure, it's power. And now I'll pass her question to you. What's one area you've been avoiding? Your money, your job, your health, or your love life? Be honest. Then ask, what's the smallest action I could take today to move forward even just a little bit? You don't have to leap, just step. That's how we start shifting from feeling behind to getting aligned. So after the defining decade helped me see where I was stuck, the next question hit me hard. Okay, I know I want to change, but how do I actually start? Book 2. Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book answered that. James Clear says it best. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. In simple words, big dreams don't matter unless you build small habits to support them. This book showed me that change doesn't have to be dramatic. You don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. or run 10 miles. All you need is a 1% improvement, something tiny, repeatable, and so small it feels silly. Let me tell you what I did. I wanted to write more, but I kept putting it off. I'd say, I'll write when I feel inspired. But inspiration never came. Then I tried what James Clear suggests. I made it so small I couldn't fail. I told myself, just write for 2 minutes a day. That's it. Not 20. Just 2. I'd sit at my desk, open my laptop, and write a few lines. Most days, once I started, I'd keep going. But even on days I didn't, I still won. Because I showed up. A month later, I had a full draft of something I'd been avoiding for a year. That's the magic of tiny habits. They grow quietly, like drops filling a bucket. One drop doesn't seem like much, but keep going. It overflows. James teaches us to focus on identity-based habits. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to become? Then start building proof with tiny actions. If you want to feel healthy, don't start with an hour-long workout. Just do 5 jumping jacks. If you want to read more, don't commit to a whole book. Just open the page. Make it so easy that skipping it would feel silly. So I'll leave you with the question James asks often. What's one tiny habit you can start today? So small it feels almost too easy. That's where momentum lives. That's where confidence builds. And once I understood momentum, I started realizing that my progress didn't need to look like anyone else's timeline, which is exactly what the next book helped me make peace with. After Atomic Habits taught me how to start small and build momentum, I hit another wall. Sometimes, even when we can act, we still say no. Not because we don't care, but because we're scared. Book 3. The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. This book flipped that fear on its head. Shonda Rhimes, the woman behind Grey's Anatomy and Scandal, was wildly successful, yet secretly drained. She realized she was saying no to everything that scared her. Public speaking? No. Parties? No. Big interviews? No. So she challenged herself to say yes for 1 full year. Yes, to things that terrified her. Yes, to being seen. Yes, to joy. And here's what shocked me most. She didn't say yes to everything. She said yes to what mattered. And that's the key. Her yes wasn't about being a people pleaser. It was about finally giving herself permission to step into her life fully. That hit me hard, because I realized I'd been saying no to things before I even gave them a chance. Things like joining a workshop I thought I wasn't ready for, making the first move in a friendship, accepting a compliment without shrinking away. One day after reading her story, I tried it myself. A friend invited me to a weekend picnic. Normally I'd say I was busy, aka too anxious. But this time I said yes. And honestly, it was just sandwiches and sunshine. But something shifted. I felt open again. Like maybe the world wasn't as scary as I thought. That's what saying yes does. It opens doors you didn't even know were there. Shonda teaches that fear is loud, but it's not always telling the truth. So ask yourself, what have I been saying no to out of fear? Not because I didn't want it, but because I felt small. Is it a new opportunity? A tough conversation? Trying something outside your comfort zone? This month, try saying yes once, just once, to something small, maybe even silly. Say yes to dancing in your room, to trying a painting class, to sending that email. Because that one yes might lead to something bigger. After the year of yes helped me start saying yes to life, I hit another block. Because sometimes, even when you say yes, there's a voice in your head that whispers, but what if you're just not good enough? Book 4, Mindset by Carol Dweck. This book changed how I saw everything. Carol Dweck explains that people usually fall into one of 2 mindsets, a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. A fixed mindset says, I'm not creative. I'll never be good at public speaking. I failed once, so I should just stop. But a growth mindset says, maybe I'm not good at it yet, but I can learn. I can get better if I keep trying. Reading that hit home for me. Because at 25, I had this mental list of things I thought I just wasn't made for. Speaking in front of people, managing money, learning new skills like coding or cooking. I'd already told myself no so many times without ever trying. But Carol shares real stories of students, athletes, even CEOs, people who weren't naturals, but improved through effort, feedback, and time. One story stuck with me. A student who went from failing math to passing, not because she magically became smart, but because she stopped believing failure was final. I decided to challenge one of my own labels. I'm not a public speaker. So I started small. At family dinners, I'd share a short story. At work, I offered to open a meeting just 2 minutes. Were my hands shaking? Absolutely. But guess what? I didn't die. In fact, with every try, I felt a little more capable. It reminded me, we're not stuck. We're not born with a set limit. Our brains, skills, and confidence can grow at any age. So let me ask you this. Where in your life are you telling yourself, I'm just not good at that? What if you added a tiny word to that sentence? Not I can't, but I can't yet. Maybe it's confidence. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's love. Try this. Write down one thing you think you're bad at, and one small way you could practice getting better this week. Because change doesn't start with talent. It starts with belief. After learning from mindset that I could grow, even in places I thought I was stuck, something else still bothered me. Even when I did try to speak up or take action, I'd sometimes pull back. Why? Because I'm not loud. I'm not the one talking over people in meetings or posting bold takes online. And for a long time I thought that meant I was falling behind. Book 5. Quiet by Susan Cain. Then I read this book, and everything shifted. Susan Cain explains something powerful. In a world that celebrates loud voices, quiet minds often go unseen, but they're just as powerful. Introverts like you and me aren't broken. We're just wired differently. We think deeply. We notice what others miss. We pause before we speak, and when we do speak, it carries weight. I remember one work meeting where I didn't say anything until the end. I was nervous, but I shared a quiet, thoughtful idea. And people remembered it far more than all the louder noise before it. That's when I realized, quiet isn't a weakness. It's a superpower. Susan shares real stories of introverts making waves in science, leadership and art, not by being louder, but by being intentional. She also helped me understand why social situations sometimes drain me, why I love solo walks, deep one-on-one chats and journaling. And she reminded me, that's not weird, that's just being me. So here's something to think about. Have you ever felt like you had to change yourself to fit in? Be louder, faster, more social? What if you started honoring your quiet side instead? Try this. Next time you're in a group setting, don't pressure yourself to speak constantly. Instead, speak when it feels right. Say one clear thing that matters to you. You'll be surprised how much people listen because it's coming from depth. And if you recharge by being alone, give yourself that time without guilt. Reading quiet helped me stop apologizing for being introverted and start owning it. Because quiet people can still lead. We can still create. We can still change our lives. We just do it in our own way, and that's enough. After learning from quiet that it's okay to be soft-spoken, I still faced another problem. I kept trying to manage everything and everyone around me. I'd stay up overthinking. Why did they ignore my text? Should I have explained myself better? Did they misunderstand me? I was mentally exhausted, not from my own choices, but from trying to control things I couldn't. That's when I came across one of the most powerful, newest books I've read. Book 6. The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. 2 simple words. Let them. If someone talks behind your back, let them. If someone doesn't invite you to the party, let them. If someone doesn't agree with your choices, let them. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care more about your peace. Mel Robbins explains how we waste so much energy trying to fix, explain or impress people. We end up living their life instead of focusing on our own. She tells stories of people who kept bending over backward until they learned to stop chasing validation and start focusing inward. I tried it one day when a friend seemed distant. Old me would have obsessed. Did I do something wrong? But I paused, took a breath and said, let them. I turned back to my own to-do list, my goals, my day. And guess what? The silence passed. They came back around. But I didn't waste my energy wondering. I stayed focused on me. Mel says, the minute you stop managing other people's opinions, you start managing your own growth. So here's a question for you. What's one thing you're worrying about right now that's completely outside your control? Write it down. Then write. Let them. Then ask. Now, let me take care of what I can control. This shift will give you back so much mental freedom. Start using your time to build the life you want, not fix how others see it. Reading the Let Them theory helped me breathe deeper, worry less, and reclaim my focus. Because the truth is, your 20s aren't for pleasing the world. They're for figuring out your own world. And with all 6 books we've now explored, it's clear. You are not behind. You are just becoming. Let's put it all together. So after learning to let go of what you can't control, let's pause and look at the journey we've just walked through together. Here's the heart of it all, 6 books that remind you. 1. Your 20s are life-defining, the defining decade. Don't treat them like a waiting room. The small steps you take now will shape your future more than you think. 2. Tiny changes matter. Atomic habits. Big transformations don't happen all at once. 1 page, 1 tiny habit, 1 consistent effort, that's how real change begins. 3. Say yes to growth. The year of yes. Life won't always knock twice. When something feels new or slightly scary, but also exciting, say yes. That's where growth hides. 4. You can grow. Mindset. You're not stuck. You're not bad at something forever. Everything from confidence to skill can be learned if you stay open to it. 5. Quiet is a strength. Quiet. If you feel different in a loud world, you are not broken. Your deep thoughts, listening skills, and calm presence are powerful. 6. Let others be. Focus on your life. The Let Them theory. You don't have to control or explain everything. Free yourself from outside noise and return that energy to yourself. These aren't just book titles, they're small mind shifts that help me get through the messy, beautiful chaos of being 25. Because the truth is, feeling behind is incredibly common at this age. But what matters more is what you do next. You don't need to launch a business, fall in love, or have everything figured out right now. What you need is momentum. A small decision. A brave yes. A quiet moment of self-trust. And books like these, they're not magic fixes, but they hold lanterns in the dark. They make you feel seen. So the next time you feel like everyone else is ahead of you, remember this. One chapter can shift your thinking. One quote can shift your energy. And one small step today can take you in a whole new direction tomorrow. You're not behind. You're becoming. And that, right there, is exactly where you're supposed to be. Let's close with one last step. Just 30 seconds. Let's make this real. If this video gave you even one spark of hope, one deep breath of relief, hit like so it can reach another 25-year-old who's quietly struggling. Click subscribe to Books Ahead. We're building a space for real readers, real emotions, and simple, powerful book lessons that stick. And drop a comment below. Which of these 6 books are you picking up first? Or maybe you've already read one. What did it teach you? Because here's the truth. You're not lost. You're learning. You're building a foundation. Being 25 isn't about being done. It's about showing up. One small chapter at a time. So let your journey be slow, honest, and yours. Keep reading. Keep growing. You're not behind. You're becoming. And the best part, you've just begun. See you on the next page.